Noah Wilson discussed with Mrs. Wilson last night and carefully planned all this. Today, he also specially invited the respected members of the Wilson family, and put on a 3-counsel trial. Half of it was a temptation and half a threat. He wanted Jacob to voluntarily hand over the villa. If he doesn't take the initiative to hand in, force him to do it. According to his thoughts, Jacob was usually the most timid, and his mother would shiver all over his body when she uttered a rebuke. When the time came, he would definitely offer the villa's hands honestly. As for Claire, he didn't care at all. What right does a married woman have? What's more, still married to a rubbish. As for the waste Charlie, let alone. The live-in son-in-law has no status in the Wilson family, and he doesn't even have the qualifications to speak. If asked to let him hand over the villa, he must hand it over honestly. However, Noah did not expect that Jacob was so anxious that he even dared to talk back to the Lady Wilson. Claire, a granddaughter, didn't even listen to the Lady Wilson. Even the rubbish Charlie dared to point to the Lady Wilson's nose and call her shameless. Your family is really the opposite. Noah Wilson gritted his teeth and turned around and said, "Mom, you can't let them go like this. If you let it go today, in the future, our Wilson family will not be riding on their heads? What majesty will you have in the Wilson family in the future?" Mrs. Wilson's face is extremely ugly. She has a strong desire to control their life. After the father's death, she kept the entire Wilson family in her own hands and did not allow anyone to challenge her authority. However, she did not expect that today she would suffer the disobedience of Claire's family of 3, which made her resent. She roared hysterically, "The Wilson family is unfortunately out of this family. You are all from my Wilson family. As long as I don't die for a day, you have to listen to me." Having said that, the old Mrs. Wilson shouted sharply, "Close the door, family law will take care of you." She has absolute authority in the Wilson family, and Jacob, who is usually the most submissive to her, dares to disobey her today. Among them were granddaughter and daughter-in-law, who didn't even look at her. I don't know how Jacob taught his children to be so unfilial. If not severely punished today, what is the majesty of the head of the family? Besides, if they were to leave like this today, how could the Thompson first-class villa be taken over? She lived half of her life and never expected to live in such a villa. Now this villa is in the hands of her son's family, and she has to grab anything and enjoy it. Therefore, in any case, they must be asked to surrender the villa. Even if they want to leave the Wilson family, they must leave the villa. As a result, a group of bodyguards and subordinates immediately surrounded the 3 people. Charlie stood in the courtyard of the old mansion, with a vigorous aura. He looked at the bodyguards coldly and shouted angrily, "Who dares to take a step forward? Don't blame me for being impolite. You are a rubbish thing, dare to show off here." One of the bodyguards shouted angrily and hit Charlie with a stick. Charlie's eyes were cold. He directly grabbed the eyebrow stick in his hand and hit the opponent's leg easily. The bodyguard felt a strong attack from the bend of his leg, and he knelt in front of Charlie uncontrollably. His leg was broken. Charlie didn't even look at him, and with a harder hand, he broke the eyebrow stick into 2 with a pop. Dang! Charlie directly threw the broken stick to the ground. The people in the yard were shocked. This eyebrow stick is made of the hardest yellow elm wood, which is extremely hard. Even 2 sturdy men can hardly break with all their strength. But in Charlie's hands, it turned out to be like crispy noodles, so weak. After practicing the 9 profound heaven scriptures, Charlie's strength has become stronger and stronger, and these bodyguards are simply not opponents. Seeing Charlie's move, Jacob let out a sigh of relief. He didn't expect that his son-in-law should be so capable. It seems that today he and his daughter can leave the Wilson family safely. The bodyguards in the old house of the Wilson family were all arranged by Noah Wilson. They were all his confidants. At this moment, seeing that he was very strong, everyone was a little flustered. Noah Wilson gritted his teeth and said, "Charlie, I didn't expect you to have learned some 3-legged cat kung fu. But I see you alone, how to deal with so many hands. Give it to me together." "Yes. Let's go together and kill him." Harold also gritted his teeth, showing his face. He had suffered a loss in Charlie's hands long ago, so he planned to take revenge today. A group of bodyguards got the order and immediately rushed towards Charlie. Charlie ignored them, and when several bodyguards rushed over, he suddenly volleyed with a roundabout kick and kicked the 2 bodyguards out. Immediately afterwards, he brushed a few punches, and instantly knocked down the bodyguard who rushed in front. Claire, who was standing behind him, was stunned. She had no idea that Charlie, who gets along with her day and night, would be so good. Seeing his daughter's shocked expression, Jacob quickly explained, "Claire, when you usually go to work, Charlie is at home following the TV to practice martial arts." "He still practices martial arts?" Claire was even more incredible. Jacob said, "He knows a lot. Chin Gang asked him to do things last time." With that said, Jacob felt a little guilty when he saw Charlie fought against several bodyguards. The Wilson family had always underestimated Charlie, and let him stay at home to buy vegetables and cook, but Charlie was also a man, and he also had his own dignity. Which man is willing to wash and cook at home all his life? It seems that the family is ashamed of Charlie.